Okay, so the next thing we have is color work. So color work can be lovely and pretty and also a pain in the butt. Um, so let me show you some things. This is like when people talk about color work, this is what they're talking about. Alice Starmore is like, I mean, look at that. This woman is amazing. But I mean, these are the charts, you know, like holy cannoli. Um, she's known for making things like cables and Irishy, Scottishy, you know, romantic, lovely things. But just her color work is just, I mean, I mean, let's see here. Can we get in closer? Look at that. Will you look at that? Very intricate, very detailed, very intense charts and all that stuff. But oh man, the color, the color. So anyway, so how do you do that? How do you make color work happen? All right, so here's my little pretend swatch here. You have one color, and there's a couple of things you can do. You can have one color, and then you could just start knitting and just add in your new color and just have, you know, one, oops, don't go away. One row of this color, one row of this color. You know, you could just go back and forth with rows. But let's say you want to, you know, you're doing some Alice Darmo, right? So she'll tell you to, um, first of all, you know, knit with, come on, stay on. Ugh, everything's sliding up. So first you'll knit, you know, a couple of stitches with what's considered the main color. So we'll call this main color. And then we'll call this contrasting color. So then, and they'll be listed in the patterns as MC and CC. So you pick up your CC and you literally just start knitting with it. You put your needle, I put my needle in, and the advantage with the circular needles is it won't fall out. So you give yourself a little bit of a tail with the contrasting color, and then you've got to hold it with, you know, this finger against the knitting, and then just start knitting, right? You knit a couple of stitches with your contrasting color, and then you drop the contrasting color and you pick up the color that you were knitting with. And since this is only, like, I just pretended, so we just did 3 stitches. So you're going to strand all that behind the needle, and it's going to make what's called a float, a little float of yarn behind there. And try not to pull it like I do. You don't have to pull it too tight because then it'll cinch up and it'll like pucker your resulting fabric. So we don't want pucker, so don't pull too hard on that. But you can go back and forth. Contrasting color, drop it, pick up the main color, drop it, contrasting color, drop it, main color, you know, just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then when you get to the other side, you can, you know, whatever it is the pattern tells you to do, you just keep going, you know, and it says, okay, knit 3, oops, I did that wrong. Knit 3 with the main color, and now that's going to cover up your color on this side. So, and then pick up the contrasting color, or something. I don't know, whatever. But you just knit with whatever the pattern tells you to, and it'll create a color work pattern.